Hello, and welcome to another edition of Sutton Impact Family Style. I'm Jason.
I'm Bill, and we start off with our sport business moment. So, Jason, I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions, see if you can figure this out.
Okay.
Okay, this sport draws 42 million fans annually. Okay, it's the second most attended pro sports league in North America after Major League Baseball. It can be accessed by more than 76% of the U.S. population. It owns the longest sellout streak in all U.S. professional sports. One team has sold out for 18 consecutive years.
For 18 consecutive years?
Years, one team.
Wow.
Any guesses?
Well, initially I was going esports because I thought it was esport thing, but 18 years kind of throws that out with the bathwater. Is this?
Yeah.
18 years.
Maybe you get this one. It has 160 franchises in 43 states.
160 franchises.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm having trouble coming up with anything. I assume it can't be something ridiculous like the PBA Bowling Association or something weird, can it?
No.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm curious now.
Minor League Baseball.
Ah. So, Major League Baseball followed by Minor League Baseball.
Yeah, but that's pretty amazing. And then if you think about it, actually this is the topic of my column this week was about the minor leagues. And one thing I talked about is the one thing that makes it different than anything else is the fact that you're not dependent upon who's playing because nobody knows.
You hope you're watching the next great superstar, but yeah, you don't know.
Yeah, the fans aren't concerned with pace of play. They're not concerned about free agency. They're not concerned about cost of attendance. They're focused on enjoying themselves with other people that they're attending the games with and consuming it in a way that fits their group. That might mean, like in Frisco, they have a lazy river in the outfield. So you can sit in an inner tube and watch the game. You can have dinner with a mascot. You can stop by after work for a few innings and a few beers with coworkers. You can go to a pregame clinic with your Little League team. Or you can just take your family out and have a couple hot dogs, stay for 3-4 innings and leave. Because you're not dependent upon the product. You're dependent upon the experience. And you, as the consumer, create the experience. That's why I'm really bullish on minor league baseball. It's going to keep growing. Because it's if you like baseball, great. If you just like having a good time, great. If you just want to go outside with your family and have some good food, great. If you just want to go have a couple beers with your coworker, great. If you're going to ride lazy river, great. All these things. And it just, it's not restricted to do anything. You don't have labor strikes. You don't have all these issues.
No, and
you leave. You don't know who won. You don't know who lost. You don't really care. You're not in a pennant race. You're just out for a good time.
And
so to me, that's a sustainable business.
Very much so. And we watched that. We were together recently, and we had on the Food Network before we went out to dinner. And they were doing minor league baseball parks, and they had some just insane looking food. But it looks like they have a lot of like really good chefs that are just creating, super ballpark foods.
Yeah, and it's a big part of the experience.
And some of it was very gourmet. I said this gourmet, but like a bacon jam and some other sort of foodie things. And then they had some of the ridiculous, a full-size baseball helmet sundae. Like the helmet for a normal human head, not like the little ones used to get at Dairy Queen. Like a legit full-size helmet.
A legit batting helmet, yeah. Yeah, it's just a fun thing. So I'm going to follow this. The team has been sold out for 18 straight years, by the way, is the Dayton Dragons.
The Dayton Dragons, not the Durham Bulls, huh?
The Dayton Dragons, which is a Class A baseball team. And Dayton is only 50 miles from Cincinnati. So you can watch Major League Baseball, and they haven't sold out 18 games, let alone 18 years.
No.
So it's interesting because it's a totally different take on the subject.
Right. They're much more reasonably priced.
Absolutely.
And I know, like, part of the special they showed us is that, almost every stadium showed kids running on the field, kids getting to run the bases before the game and after the game. It seemed like a lot of the major league or minor league systems had like 4 to 5 mascots running around interacting with people, and it just seemed like it was just like you said, the baseball was almost secondary or even third. Like it was just go to the park, hang out with your friends, run around the bases, and it's reasonably priced food, which I think would really help other stadiums as well if they just went, because if you're paying a decent price and you're getting good food, you're going to be happy with it. So, yeah, no, it's very cool. And they have cool hats and mascots, obviously.
They got a lot of hats, too. They got a lot of hats, a lot of nicknames.
And weird mascots and weird names that just, they need to get a rapper really involved in minor league hats again. Bring that back. But I guess they're doing fine without it, so it doesn't seem like it matters. Well, moving on to NBA playoffs.
Any surprises for you?
Well, I did not expect Cleveland to get stomped by Indiana. I would say that would be my biggest surprise. Because they got just thrashed. And I know it's game 1 of a 7-game series, but LeBron, it's hard to say. Is this the worst team he's ever had, or is the Boobie Gibson, who else was on that team, like from 2000, I don't know, whatever year that was, where Boobie Gibson was a celebrity, a small-time basketball celebrity for like a month and a half. Because this team
is different. This is not as good of a team as he's had.
No, but they have the highest payroll in the league.
Go-to person.
Yeah.
Other than Kevin Love, and Kevin Love's not what you consider the go-to kind of person like Kyrie Irving. I mean, Kevin Love can't create his own shots.
It's also
you're dependent upon LeBron creating something for you, and that's the problem. I mean, that's the problem with that team is he has to have the ball in his hands and he has to create the opportunities for everybody else. That's really going to take a toll on him.
And I know it doesn't fit with analytics or the new NBA, but you also take Kevin Love, who's a fantastic rebounder, passer, and great in the high post, the 3 things he does best, and you get rid of all those skills. And you tell him basically on offense to hang out in the corner and shoot threes.
Right.
Because, it seems like there's got to be a way that you can take a guy like Kevin Love that has all these actual skills, and like a Belichick, be like, I'm going to find a way where we can still shoot threes and keep an open lane for LeBron to drive in, but still allow Kevin Love to be what he's the greatest asset in. Because he's an amazing rebounder, and he's fantastic throwing outlet passes, and he has great court vision. But since he's been in Cleveland, like all that's been regulated to stand in the corner and shoot, 6 threes a game. Which, outside of Tom Thibodeau, everybody else is that's how it's been coached. That's how the league is going. So I don't know if there's anything you can do about it, but
no.
And that's the other.
Speaking of which, that was a weird game the other night.
The Houston
and the Timberwolves.
I
watched the whole thing, and Houston just was begging to get beat.
They were, and I don't see how.
If they wouldn't have as big a lead as they did, they would have lost. I mean, Chris Paul throws away the ball with 6 seconds left, and all you need is a 3. And then they played defense and didn't let Jimmy Butler have a great shot. Otherwise,
and he shot a 2-pointer for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But when you watch the T-Wolves play, you got to wonder how Karl Anthony Towns is getting 7 shots.
Yeah, you got to wonder that. He touches the ball 8 times. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, you got to give him the ball much, much more. In fact, the talking heads said that after the game. They said the key to they blew that game by not giving him the ball, and they said Thibodeau better sit down with those guys and just have the conversation like, hey, we got to get this guy the ball because there's no matchup. They have nobody to guard him.
No, and they keep switching all the time. So there were so many times in that game where you had Karl Anthony Towns in the post with Chris Paul or James Harden guarding him. Like, nobody on that team can guard him, but certainly not the guards. But even when he had a mismatch, they didn't give him the ball. Like, it just didn't make any sense.
No. So I'll be curious. Do they play tonight, right?
I believe they do play tonight.
Okay, I'll be curious as to how many touches. If he doesn't get 15 to 20 touches, I'm going to be shocked.
I mean, I know Jimmy Butler is, I guess, the man on that team, but like Karl Anthony Towns has got to be, he needs to be getting, 20 shots a game, and maybe more so against the Houston Rockets.
I'll tell you what, I feel bad for New Orleans because if Boogie Cousins was healthy, they'd have a legitimate chance to make the Western Conference Finals, if not win the Western Conference Finals.
Well, with the way Anthony Davis is playing right now, I mean, they're certainly going to beat Portland.
Yeah, but I mean, if they had, just think if they had Cousins and him like they normally would have, they would be tough. They'd be a tough out.
They would. And I know people say that Anthony Davis has been so much better since he went down, but I think if you really watch the whole season, and having been in New Orleans, I sort of have, like, it was rough in the beginning. But for those couple of weeks right before Boogie got hurt, they were really starting to look like they knew what they were doing together.
They were playing ridiculously well. They had learned how to play with each other, which is what you have to expect. You've got to give people time to learn how to adjust to each other.
Exactly. What did you think of Playoff P for the Oklahoma City Thunder, as he calls himself? I mean,
Paul George had an amazing game.
Yes.
Russell Westbrook had his usual game. Melo didn't screw anything out.
Steven Adams looked good.
Steven Adams, I love Steven Adams.
Yeah.
I just don't. They're still the worst team I've ever seen with 3 minutes or less left in the game. So unless they have a 10-point lead with 3 minutes left, I'm worried about them.
I know. And as you know, right down to his shirtless outfits, I'm the biggest Westbrook supporter I know. But a lot of that, end of game is because he just does some bizarre things at the end of games. Like, he will come down with, 20 seconds on the shot clock and launch a three. And I know it's because he has the ultimate confidence in himself just to, as people pointed out,
he's the definition for ultimate confidence.
Yeah. People pointed out, like, you don't wear you don't go blazer with no shirt to a ring. I mean, you just...
It was a suit with no shirt.
A suit with no shirt, yeah. And as people pointed out, and this wasn't me.
With a necklace.
A necklace, yeah. And
did you notice that all the players had their playoff necklaces on?
I did. And if you lose that game, do you go to the press conference shirtless in your shirtless suit and have to answer questions like that? I mean, it's the all-time swag move if you win. But if you lose, I feel like you look extra silly. But, and again, I mean, he and KD never really figured out how to close out games. Because it seemed when it was Oklahoma City with KD, it was, I'll take a shot, next time down you take a shot. Then I'll take a shot, then you take a shot, which obviously led to nothing good. And, I don't know. I think with Russ, you just better hope he's hot because I don't really know what else you do,
Let's see, what other games were you interested in?
Well, I'm not really interested in Boston or Milwaukee because I don't feel like either of those teams has any shot at all. Milwaukee's the worst coach team in the league by far, I think. Whoever's coach, I mean, I know it's their second coach this year, but nobody seems to really know how to make that team work because it seems like there's talent on that team beyond Giannis Antetokounmpo, Greek freak. But
yeah, he's a stud.
There's something about the way they play that just doesn't seem like it works. And I can't, like I said, I can't put my finger on it exactly. And I know that, Jabari Parker, I mean, he was the number 2 overall pick in the last 4 or 5 years, and you hope you'd get a little more out of him, and he can't even play right now. Every time he's out there.
2 ACLs or 2?
He tore 2 ACLs, but he just looks lost when he's out on the court right now. And again, I don't know if, you wonder if you had a good coach that knew how to take all those pieces, your Chris Middletons, your Thon Maker, and just sort of make that system work. But I don't really know.
I see they use him a lot like LeBron as a point forward.
Yeah. I guess the most exciting series right now.
Philadelphia win again last night?
No, Miami won.
Okay, so it's 1-1.
With vintage Dwayne Wade scoring 28 points. Looking like old school Dwayne Wade. I learned something about the fitness requirements of the Miami Heat. Do you know what they are?
No.
You get tested twice a week for your body fat, which cannot be above 9%. A lot of teams when you leave in Philadelphia, they'll have Philadelphia cheesesteaks on the plane for the team going home. Miami, you're not allowed to do that. It's all salmon, rice, vegetables. And you look at Dwayne Wade this year, and he's looked better, and he's in way better shape than he was when he went to Cleveland and they had a little bit more freedom. So maybe there's something about, the uber strict rules of the Miami diet.
No, he looks good.
I love watching Ben Simmons play.
They give those guys all the resources they need.
Yeah. And again, Spoelstra, he's gotten a lot of love lately, but he definitely is a very underrated coach. That guy he knows what he's doing back there. And Embiid seems frustrated, as his tweets point out, that he's tired of being babied. But I think if you're Philadelphia right now, you have Ben Simmons, who looks like an absolute stud, even if he never learns to shoot a jump shot.
Agree. Great passer.
Great passer. You got a high pick this year. You've got a nice little nucleus of players there with Saric and everybody else. Like, as much as I just, not that you ever want to punt on a season, but I don't think you want to risk Embiid's long-term health for a run this year. I think
he's back in Game 3.
It's possible. I mean, he's so good, and you just hope that maybe if he gets through this whole year injury-free, outside of obviously having Markelle Fultz bust his face open, which was a freak accident.
Yeah, it's sad when you get dirt with one of your other guys.
I know. And especially when it's Fultz, who seems to be the most doomed number one prospect in a while. But if Embiid's legs hold up for an entire season as much as they have, like, I think you're happy to just be patient with him. Because the future is in Philadelphia if they can keep everybody healthy. And it's probably not this year.
Biggest disappointment to me was San Antonio. They didn't look like they belonged in the playoffs.
Well, Kawhi Leonard is a big reason that they don't look like they belong in the playoffs right now,
But they haven't had them all year, so it's not like, but going into the playoffs, I expect a little bit more.
They just
looked horrible. Not like Golden State. Golden State didn't have anybody playing either.
No, they had Kevin Durant, though, and Klay Thompson.
Yeah, but they didn't look that good, and the Spurs looked horrible.
No, but I think the Kawhi thing is more than just the injury. Like, you look at the comments.
There's definitely something there.
Because I think it's a distraction for the team, too. Because even Popovich is like, what about Kawhi? And they say, ask his people. So I think Kawhi Leonard is no longer a Spur from this moment on.
No. He's been a Spur for the last 2 months.
No.
He's not. They're already planning to move on.
Yeah, LaMarcus Aldridge was in a similar situation last year where he was talking some junk, and they brought him back and got him back in the fold. But it seems like Kawhi is way gone, and I think they're happy. Because, when you have your own players, like Tony Parker saying that, he had a worse quad injury and he came back in a month. And when other players,
it's not a good situation. Well, guess what I'm going to watch tonight?
I don't know.
I'm going to stay up at 10 o'clock and I'm going to watch Ohtani against the Red Sox.
He looks amazing.
I know. That's why I got to watch it. I think pitching the game tonight against the Red Sox at home. So if I have to take a nap before 10 o'clock, I'll probably last till 11:30. I probably won't last for the whole game, but I'm going to watch.
Did you see him get that triple?
I think he's exciting.
Did you see how fast he was on the base path with the triple the other day?
I saw that.
Like, he just... I really hope that he at least, that he be... I don't know if he can maintain what he's doing right now.
I don't know, it's what he did in Japan, so, we'll have to see.
It's true. Yeah, it's amazing if he turns out to be the real deal, because he looks...
I know, and I really hope he does turn out to be the real deal.
Because when you look at Ohtani, Aaron Judge and Stanton in New York, the Red Sox, the plucky Pirates, obviously, that other guy in Anaheim who's supposedly the best player of all time, Mike Trout.
Yep.
There's a lot of exciting baseball happening, right?
Oh, there totally is.
It is going to be overshadowed right now by, the NBA playoffs, obviously, the NFL draft, and I think even to some extent the NHL playoffs, which have been pretty fantastic too. So, but yes.
I'm really enjoying the playoffs. I'm excited about the NBA playoffs. Excited about watching the Angels. Excited about the draft. So the draft is what, a week from Saturday?
A week from Saturday. I think it's a week from Saturday. Is it this Saturday? I thought it was It's soon. We should have known that before we got on the air, but yes, it's very soon. And it's intriguing because you got 2 or 3 teams with multiple picks. You got up to 6 quarterbacks that could go in the first round. Just, And of course, it's, everyone wants to see their favorite team draft the next superstar, whoever that may be.
USA Today's about running one every day now. So what I see today, I saw, what was it today?
Well, the big thing is that, Cleveland holds all the cards. Because basically what I've been reading is that
every draft I've seen, Cleveland gets Saquon Barkley and a quarterback. Quarterback at 1, Barkley at 4. But the one I saw today that was different was the number 3 pick to the Jets
Well, I guess what I read today, I read an article from analytic people, and that if you take all the quarterbacks and you break them down by analytics, Baker Mayfield is the number one quarterback of the top 5 or 6, and Josh Allen is the worst quarterback of the top 5 or 6. But I mean, I think because they don't all play against the same competition, they're not playing the same teams, the same defenses, the same skill players on offense. It's really hard, I think, to make that assessment. But they've gone ahead and made that article anyway. Because I don't see how you can really make that, how do you figure that out when they played with different players against different teams for a different number of years? But what I've heard basically is if Sam Darnold is there, the Giants are drafting a quarterback. If not, they like Barkley a lot.
Yep.
And despite the interceptions and everything else, I keep reading that everybody says Darnold is the most perfect quarterback prospect in a while. So somewhere just below the Carson Wentz, Andrew Luck level. So we'll have to see. Obviously, I'm more concerned about the 28th pick in the draft. So.
As am I. Or hopefully a trade up.
Or a trade down. I'm good either way. Depending on what's there.
Trade down, Jason, would kill me.
I don't know. It does seem like this draft is fairly top heavy. And then it seems like once you get past the top 2 or 3 at each position, there's a list of like 10 to 15 guys that, depending on your scheme and your scouts, they could all be the same play. Just because one team likes the 5th best linebacker, another team might think the 13th best linebacker is the 5th best, that sort of thing. And again, not to go too Pittsburgh oriented, but I'm sure we have some Pittsburgh listeners. I do think signing Morgan Burnett and John Bostic really did help the Steelers right now. Because I think it gave them viable options. I think Morgan Burnett's a great safety. I think he's going to start and be a big upgrade over Mike Mitchell. And not to say they couldn't use another safety in the mix, because they certainly could. And I'm not saying Bostic is going to replace Ryan Shazier, which is impossible because you can't do that, because Shazier's phenomenal athlete, player, and everything else. And speaking of which, did you see him at the Ohio State game and the Penguins game? Standing up, getting crowd, looking good. But I think it gave the Steelers a lot of leeway where they can sort of just take best available player and find someone that can contribute this year. Whether that's, I don't know, another tight end, somebody on defense, a defensive lineman. I think they can go a lot of different ways. Which I think is pretty exciting.
We'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it, though.
Very. And as soon as the draft happens, we'll probably have a whole draft episode, I think. Because I could pretty much talk about the draft in football forever. I never get tired of it. But on another note, you and I were in the same city recently.
I know. All weekend. For horrible weather.
But we definitely had a few food moments.
We did have. And so, my favorite food moment was, of course, GW Fitz, which
Yes.
I always talk about. I mean, every time I go there, my soft shell crab appetizer and whatever fish dish I have is just off the hook. The service is great. The drop biscuits are amazing. Even though, as I said at the table that night, if you look at the ingredients are self-rising flour, water, sugar, salt. It seems like there's got to be something else in there.
You forgot the main ingredient, lard.
Lard. I'm sorry, lard. And that's all the ingredients. That's one thing that I would kill for. I mean, I could just sit there, and if one night I said I just ordered drop biscuits and see how many drop biscuits I could eat, that would be a great night.
I had 4 myself, which is at least 2 more than I wanted to have. But I think when I don't get to go very often, obviously, so when I'm there, I need to take advantage.
They're like crack.
Yeah.
They're addictive.
And I actually had
the
steak, which
then we
was...
went to cake for breakfast.
Right, I want to talk about Mom's Fish from GW Finn's, though. It was something I had never tried before. It was delicious.
Yeah, go ahead, talk about that.
It was the, what was the fish called?
It
was a very non-fishy fish.
It was a snapper, but it had some kind of crackling chicken skin on it, right?
It had chicken crackling skin, and gave it like a crispy edge, and it achieved the goal of, when people say fish tastes like chicken, this fish literally did taste very much like chicken, but the chicken crackling was just, I'd never heard of that as a topping on fish. It was pretty phenomenal.
It's pretty phenomenal. And then one thing we didn't get this time that somebody's always ordering our party is the scallops and lobster and halibut, which is amazing. That's one of their signature dishes at Finn's.
And they try to sell it hard every time you go.
Big place in New Orleans, you got to have scallop.
Yes.
Then we had our amazing breakfast at Cake that you brought us to again.
Yes. If you're in New Orleans,
ham and cheese omelet I've ever had.
Yeah, it's. And again, I wish I could describe it. First off, they use big pieces of real ham, not little cubes or whatever like you get at a lot of restaurants.
It's grilled and it tastes really good. And the best thing about it is you don't run out of ham before you run out of egg.
No, and then unlike a lot of omelets, like it's not overcooked. You don't get those brown spots. It's not dry. It's just a perfectly cooked omelet.
It's moist.
It's moist. Like it's. I don't. I mean, like I said, it's phenomenal. And then
and then our wild card meal, which none of us had ever been to before, was Marcello.
Yes.
Which was a very good Italian restaurant on St. Charles.
Good meatballs.
None of us had ever been to that we just kind of went to and thought it was awesome.
Incredibly good. And you forgot about your treat from Cake.
Yes. I had my jelly donuts. And there was a chocolate cream donut I should have had too. And then I could have had a cinnamon roll. I mean, all of it is amazing. It's such a great place. And the service is great. It's friendly. We sat outside, had a great time. It's just a great place. I mean, it's not easy to get to. It's like whenever you take an Uber, it's around the world. It's not even that far. It just is not easy to get to.
No, because it's in the middle of a neighborhood. It's like houses, houses, houses. And then on the corner, a house is converted into Cake. New Orleans Cake Bakery or Cafe and Bakery.
Yeah, it's just awesome. Such a great place.
Well, and where did you guys go for your breakfast your last day here? Because I didn't actually figure that part out.
Oh, we went to Mother's for more of a brunch.
Oh, okay.
So we didn't get up for breakfast. We ate brunch at Mother's. And I had a ham po' boy. And I don't like all the stuff on the cabbage and everything, the Creole mustard and everything. So I just wanted a ham sandwich. So that was a little disappointing. I should have got the famous Ferdy, which is roast beef, ham, and turkey and debris. And that would have been a great sandwich. I got to have that next time.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Mom had a bowl of etouffee, and she said it was amazing.
Well, that's excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I guess moving on to our entertainment portion of the show. I traveled, so I got to get a new book. And I read In a Dark, Dark Wood by Ruth Ware. And much like the book I recommended, I think last week or the week before, it's another just really fast page turner. And it's another sort of, you don't know exactly what happened. They actually have a little bit, this girl, she's running through the woods. Very similar to the last book. And now it's trying to figure out what happened that night. And it's, like I said, I think Reese Witherspoon, who wrote the quote on the front where "Be prepared to be scared, really scared," is actually turning it into a film. I don't really want to tell too much about it because I don't want to give anything away, but In a Dark, Dark Wood is an excellent plain beach type book. And like I said, you can take it out in a couple of hours for the most part, I think. It'll keep it going. It's well written, and it just pops.
Yeah, it was.
Because you actually read the other one. What's that?
What was the book you passed along to me that I read?
I passed along Final Girls.
And that was really well done. It has a couple of nice twists in it. It was engaging, good plain read, quick. So that was good. And then for my entertainment moment, besides watching Ohtani pitch against the Red Sox tonight, I am downloading season 4 of Bosch from Amazon Prime. And the first three years were just outstanding. I would just, it's a binge for me. I can hardly wait to find a place to sit down, put the headphones on, and just go. It's just so well done.
Yes.
And I have to thank you for convincing me to watch that. Because I had a certain standard of things I was going to watch. And since I'd read all the books, I didn't see a value in watching it. But I got to tell you, it's one of the most well-done series I've ever seen.
And you also initially didn't feel like the actor they cast was the best Bosch.
No, because I had somebody in mind that I thought it should be. And, after I watched the first maybe 3 or 4 episodes, then I became convinced that this was the right guy. This guy was going to do a great job.
And I think he really does. Like, again, that's another show that if you get a chance to check out, it's definitely worth watching because it's an Amazon original. It's based on a great book series, and I don't know, it's a really well done cop show, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got a long overarching part, plot going through the whole thing, and then you've got, your individual smaller things that are happening. It's just, I don't know. Amazon's done some really good stuff.
I want to recommend everybody. I haven't seen it yet. I've only seen the previews. Code 100 that's coming to WGN May 29th. And if you see the previews for it, it looks really, really interesting. So I'm excited about that too. And I hope everybody paid their taxes by today.
Yes. I've already got both my refunds, so I'm good. This year.
That's good.
Anyway.
And I sent in my payments that I owed, so.
All right. So I think that probably wraps us up for this week. We should have some cool stuff coming up. Once again, please tell your friends. Please subscribe. Please rate us. 5 stars if you feel that way. It'd be really nice. And, spread the word.
We'll be waiting for a great draft moment.
Can't wait for that. So until next week, I'm Jason, and we are...
I'm Bill. Have a great week.